We are building a new town, and there is a lot to do here today. And first thing, I want to say that I try to keep this video as short as possible, but this was a very long live streaming because this little town that we are building, it ended up being a little bit bigger than we initially thought. And there were a few challenges along the way. And if you want to see the whole process from beginning to end, you can take a look at our live stream. Just in the corner of your screen here, that is the link for that. And you'll be able to watch the whole process that I come up here. But before I build the town, I've been trying to do this for a long time. And it's actually adding a toll at the entrance and exit of the town here. And this is something that I want to do because we do have a lot of cars that just cross our city, and I want, if they are coming in here, I want them to pay for it. So at least if we have to deal with the traffic, I want them paying for the traffic that they are causing us, so we can use that money to make our traffic better. I think that's fair, right? And that's exactly why I've added it there. So I kept the same amount of lanes in the toll booth, and I think this worked quite well. I'll put some water later on and connect it to sewage and all that stuff, so don't worry about that right now. But yeah, with that out of the way, there is a bit of traffic here, and I will do a small change there just to make it flow, and just like that, like magic, it's done and everything is fixed. Now the new town will be built in this area, and I've built a roundabout in there so we can reach the new area that we want, and this roundabout will serve the other connection for the highway as well, so we have multiple ways to get in here. And at the end of this road, I want to build our first monument, and that building will be the Ziggurat Garden. This is the one that I'm talking about. And by the way, apologies for the color of the recording there. I'll change it in a second. Right now, I forgot to do that, so now we can see what's going on. But yeah, I really like this building here, and I think our city is pretty green, and we want to add as much options as possible for cyclists, trees everywhere, and all that sort of stuff. And having this building here will just make sure that this is a nice feature for this area. I know I'm putting down some cement in there, but then later on we'll come back to this to just work on that area and make sure that we detail a lot of the place that we are adding, but not actually spending time on detailing. This is mainly because the streamings are getting longer and longer as we grow the city, because there are more and more details. And I think this is hard to find that balance, so what I'm thinking is I'll probably do one streaming to go through detailing, and then if you guys have opinions or suggestions, you can let me know and we can do it together. But now on the side of that building, I've put down a train station. It's a sunken train station, and on the right side of that we have a intercity bus hub, and I want something with easy access to the highway in there, and also I want to make sure that it was easily accessible by a train line, which will then connect now to this other side and extend that train line going all the way to our new town. So just a reminder, this line here doesn't connect to the outside, it's just internal trains and internal lines that will go through it. So we don't have any issues with train traffic and all that sort of stuff, or even cargo. We don't have any of that in this line. And what I'm doing here, I'm elevating because we do have the other highway that connects to the roundabout in there, which I still don't know exactly how I'll do it, but I want to leave it all ready for us to work with that later on, and just give it like a nice ramp for the real line in there. So we are almost making that connection there. I'm just making sure that everything lines up, the height of the bridge is correct, and we do have nice curves, and this goes straight to this station, which will probably be the final stop for this train line. Now, next thing that I'll do, I just put down this road there, but I'll change that to a bus only road. The reason why I have that, I want some way for the buses that go to the hub over there on the right top side of the screen, that they have an easy access to the highway. And the best way for them to do this is just leaving the bus station and getting into this road and accessing the highway that is at the bottom. So pretty easy, and I think that will work quite well. Now the layout for the roads here is the next thing that we are going to do. As you know, I first start with the area that I want, then I put down roads, and that's the next step here. The other town, we went for that organic style and making sure that everything was curved. Now this one, I don't want to build grids, but I want the roads to be all straight. I just want to play around with this a little bit, show you guys that there are other ways that you can build your city layouts, and other ways that you can make your city pop and look a little bit different. And I quite like the result here. I do notice at the end that we might have a few points where traffic was building up, but I think we can also come back to that later and do an episode to fix these sort of issues. So I won't bother too much about that. I still haven't found the asymmetrical roads with bike paths, and that's something, if you know where they are or what's the name, let me know in the comments and I'll take a look at that so I can make sure that our corners there are correct. Now, next step for our town here is to make it accessible, and by that I mean putting down pathways, so pedestrians and cyclists. In this case, this works for both. They have easy access to anywhere in the city, so that's what I'm doing there, making sure that wherever they want to go, that is an easy way for them to get there. And obviously, I think we need easy access for them to get to the train station and the bus station over there, and having a nice little bridge here will help us achieve right that. So I did change this from the current style. As you can see, I'm moving things around now and making sure that curves are nicer and it all looks a little bit better, making sure that the height there is also working for the trains that we go underneath. And yeah, we can see the height by the electrical lines that we have both way, so it's all good there. Then I'm just doing some final adjustments because the road there is a little bit higher, and then we connect on the other side there. And I did add the basic service like water for this area, so I won't show that because, as I said, it was too big of an episode, and I tried to make it as focused on the town itself as possible. But now I'm doing the zoning here. So the idea is that around this area we have lower commercial, and then we do have lower residential, and after that we do have high residential. So there we go. I'm adding that right now. I want to make a transition, and I don't want high buildings next to that building in there, that garden, Ziggurat's garden, yeah, that's the name. Because this is a feature, so I think everywhere else should be low density around this building, and further away you can have high density, and they will all be able to see the building, which is what I'm calling the town center here, from afar. And I quite like the idea and how this turned out. Now, next step, I'm adding services, and you see me putting down leisure, making sure that we do have some options for entertainment in there, and that we have enough coverage. So I've also added, I believe this was the official park, which is a level 3 monument, which will be part of the Eden project, which is one of the monuments that we want to unlock. So we have a high land value across the whole map. And now I'm just changing the way these square balls that we had around this building looks. I want it a little bit more curved, and I think this looks a little bit better. I'm not sure yet if I'm 100%, but I think this is the only curved area in that town, and I quite like that. So I'll probably leave it like that, but I'll still think a little bit about this. If you have any opinions, let me know. Next step was public transport. So we didn't have buses, so I put a bus depot there, and also connected the train line over here. And what I did then, I made a line that go through all this area, and it's kind of a loop, and just so we have a way for everyone that come by train, or that wants to go to the train and to the other area, that they can use the bus and get there. So that's done. I've added a few more industrial here, just so we slightly grow that a little bit. By the way, we reach a new level for our industry, which is great. And as you can see, this train station is quite nice. Pedestrians can get out on both sides of the station, and the trains go underneath, and it looks pretty nice. Now, as I always do when I'm reaching the end of the episodes, although we still have a few minutes here, I do use the node controller, make these curves a little bit smoother, and making sure that they look nicer. So when they go in or out of the roundabouts, they go a little bit faster, and that helps. And the next step then would obviously be the intersection marking tool. So our roundabout here looks great. And as I always do, I did some markings in there. I separated the area where we have the filler, add the filler, as we are doing everywhere else. Inside the city, the fillers will be solid, so just one color covering everything there. Here I'm thinking about how I'll do this intersection. That corner there, it didn't work, so you see that I did, and then the filler, and then I removed, because it just looks weird having it above the curb in there, and I ended up removing it. When I added this other one, I came back and said, yeah, that does look nice. So yeah, one of the things that I'll probably want to do on these roundabouts is removing pedestrian crossing. And I don't know if I try to use the, what's it called? Pedestrian crossing builder or something like that. and or if I do that manually, but we'll see very soon. And yeah, like I think like it looks good. I named some roads here based on the people that was in the live streaming, some suggestions, and Rodolfo that you saw there is kind of a thing in my channel. So every game that I play, he has a name in there somewhere. So it's just like a nice touch, I would say, and thanks for the support. But anyway, we are almost done with the intersection marking tool. There is nowhere else that I'm using higher capacity roads. I probably should thinking about this right now. I might change that layer. And look at that, all those cars crossing. Where are they going? I'm finally making sure that we have capacity enough for our public transportation. As you saw, trains are getting busier, which is great. This area is actually growing, which is fantastic. And what I thought is funny is that the high density residential is growing a lot more than the low density, which I was kind of surprised, but I kind of like it, to be honest. And it will grow eventually, it will be alright. And I saw that we actually need more education in this area, like we were way under what we needed. And that's why we have a few buildings being abandoned or with those small blue and red icons. And adding these schools will make sure that we have more educated people, and then they'll be able to work on our commercial zones in there. Now, one of the remaining steps was some detailing, and I did have some issues there to get the trees copying and placing, but I figured it out there. And I just want to put down some trees in here just to fill this area as well and make sure that we have a pattern going everywhere with the trees. And I pre-selected a few of them and start going down in the middle of all those areas. By the way, that was the industry living up. And yeah, it won't be just that, the detailing. I want to do something else. And we just leveled on our city to capital city now, which is fantastic. And last step would be doing the suburb. And as you know it, I like to make it nice and tidy with all the roads being or the limits of our suburb. So I've did that and I think it looks pretty cool actually. This is a pretty big area and I name it Garden Hills. If you have any other suggestions, please let me know. But this is how I will call it. Just taking a look at where all the traffic is going. We need public transportation on the old town there. And that bit, I think this looks pretty good. I really hope you like it and that you learn something or enjoy it. Please leave me your comments. If you like the video, don't forget to leave a like. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.